Hello everybody and welcome back to Broken Brian. And last night I ran through the entire demo of Metaphor ReFantazio. Now, it was about 6 hours to run through the demo. Now, I played the Visions of Mana demo a while back and it was 2.5 hours. That's kind of what I was expecting, but 6 hours for a demo. For a demo, that means that's a pretty good chunk of game for free to try out. So I'm going to give my thoughts and what I think, and kind of review this game based on the demo itself. And I made a video about the trailer, and that's why I was excited to play the demo, because the trailer just looked great. It looked fun. It looked like right up my alley. But let's address a few of the issues here. Now, of 6 hours, right now it's showing a little bit of the gameplay. And when I say a little bit of the gameplay, of the 6 hours, about 5 hours to 5.5 hours was cutscene stories. Literally. You're literally just sitting there watching a well-made anime. It's not using the video game characters and the structure that's there. It looks like a regular anime that you're watching. And 6 hours of just sitting there at my computer watching an anime, it was a lot. And I literally didn't like that. I felt kind of cheated and robbed. And what I mean by that is I wanted to play a game, and this comes off as an interactive anime or interactive storybook. I mean, that's what it feels like. I do a little fighting here and there, and then it's another hour of story, do a little side quest here, and then it's another 30 minutes of story, a little bit more fighting. And the majority of the fighting I did took place after the 5 hour mark. At the 5 hour mark is when the majority of my fighting took place. 5 hours of very little fighting. Like I said, I'm showing the fighting here. Now, so to me, that puts this as, yeah, I'm not going to pick this up. It was just so much story. Don't get me wrong, it's an interesting story. I'm intrigued by it, but the fact that I'm literally sitting and watching and not doing anything for hours on hours, I was just kind of bummed and just tired. I mean, there were several times I was wanting to quit playing the demo. But I was like, I started this, I'm going to finish it. Now, I'll address some of the storyline issues that I have. And that is, the story has what are called archetypes. So each character and each different character you meet basically indwell and kind of pull out this ancient archetype, such as a seeker, a knight, a healer, and gives you abilities. Now, when this happens and when this archetype manifests in the character that you're playing, is so bizarre and so weird, it makes zero sense. It's just like, okay, boom, this power swells within you and you feel it, boom, that makes sense. What they do is literally, it only happened a few times during this demo, so I can't show it. I mean, I could find it, but it's going to be hard. Basically, the character tears into their own chest and pulls out a robotic heart, a mechanical heart that looks like a microphone, and they start yelling into it about their ability and their archetype. No idea how they knew how to do this, why, no explanation, and why in the world do these people have metal hearts? No one else has them. So I was very confused every time it happened. I'm like, okay, maybe they'll explain in the next one why this happens. No, just this is how it is. It would make more sense if they just swelled up and was like, boom, a spirit or ability just awakens within you. That makes more sense than what was going through. I was just dumbfounded. But moving along to that weird little thing, there is a lot of subtle messaging. And I do mean subtle. They do talk about how good it is and how diverse it is among the characters and the tribes, and how other tribes are looked down upon and things like that. And as far as storyline goes, I mean, that's normal. I mean, it's taking real life into this imaginary world, and things like this shouldn't happen, but they do. And but I probably would have just brushed it off as this is something else. But you, as the protagonist, have a storybook that is a fictional fantasy story that tells of utopia and how everyone is equal and all this, and very. I love the idea of utopia, but the way some of that was framed and mentioned, it comes off very questionable. I'll say questionable. And there's nothing wrong with wanting and believing and hoping we can get a utopia. I get that. That's perfectly fine. It's good, but I mean, these are little things when you put together, you're starting to see something. And you're like, okay, well, who are the big monsters at this point on the screen? I've already fought one, and I'll fight a couple more. But the giant monsters are the big bad invading this area are not just like little monsters. The big bad are humans. And that's why I say it's a lot of these little subtle things packaged together that it's like, really? More of this? You know? So, yeah, I was like, man, okay, I get this. A lot of people wanting to push this type of narrative in this game, but however, the story is intriguing, and I get it, and I like it. I like the story. It's interesting, but the fact that literally this is probably the second most gameplay I had was running through the mines, and I just got bored. And I was really excited. And some of the mechanics, I've never played an Atlas game, and I've never played. So I was like, okay, let's figure this out, see how they do things. And here I was very confused because in this game you can't jump, which I thought was weird. You can't jump. I don't know why. It's just one of those things. And shortly hereafter, a lot of these RPGs I play will event, and I don't like this little thing that they do. Um, I take it back. They did it in Sandland. I haven't come across it in Visions of Mana, but I have in other games as well that I can't think of. What I call a forced perspective situation, where you have to run or complete a task from a certain perspective. You can't change it, and the controls kind of reverse on you. And so it's not my favorite. It happens a lot in this style of RPG. I'm not a fan of it, never have been, but it is what it is. So I played through, and I like the story. It's an intriguing story. I'd like to do it more. I'd like to play it more, but the problem is I'm not playing. I'm literally doing a little bit of participation here and there, while the story unfolds around me. And I picked here because I knew this would be more actual gameplay while I'm talking about my review of this video than any other. And it's just, it's intriguing, it's fun, the actual gameplay is fun, but the problem is it's 10% of the game. Now, if this was a game that if I had a Steam Deck, or if this was on Switch, I would enjoy it more. So I could lay down on the couch, just have it and enjoy it. But no, I literally, my sitting in my chair for 6 hours straight, I'm starting to feel a little, I get up about every 90 minutes just to stretch. And I just felt like the longer this game went, I was just like, this is incredibly boring because I wanted to play a game and I'm not. And as far as everything put together, all those elements that I've talked about, everything, all the little, it's just, it comes to I come to the conclusion that I'm glad I did not purchase this game because playing it on my computer, I just got bored. Now, I'd consider this like a cozy RPG at this point because there's more story than actual gameplay. And and the whole concept is interesting. But if I literally have to sit here and watch and listen and go through all this talking and everything else, I'm just like, what am I doing? I'll just throw on a good anime. Like, if they made this into an anime, I'd watch it. I would. But I don't feel like this is a game. And I know a lot of people like Atlas games. I know the Persona games are very popular. I've never played them. And I picked up one of the Persona games this week because it was like $10. It was on like 80% sale, 80% off. So I was like, okay, this looks good. I've got the demo. I'm going to play it this weekend. And it's a short time. I can pick this up for like $10. Everyone says all the Persona games are incredible. They're so much fun. It's like, great. I love RPGs. So I bought it. And now I'm kind of thinking maybe I wasted my money. Because if it's like this game, I'm going to get bored. Because I don't want to watch a show. I want to play a game. I will fully watch an anime like this. But it's not a game, in my opinion. It's an interactive anime. Oh, wait. We'll see. Is this where okay. We'll show it here. This is what I'm talking about right here. Forgot this is where it comes up. This is where Stoll, one of the characters you partner up with, is unlocking his archetype. Lucky me, got to it. Instead of awakening, just like boom, it awakens and boom, here comes what everyone does in this game when their archetype awakes. Let's see. Yeah, I'll turn it on. Turn it on.
This is the way of the real world, little lordling!
You call this real? Leaders abandon their people and the innocent die by their scorn. If that's the real world, then it can die alongside you!
See, right there. Just decides to rip his hand into his chest. He pulls out. No sense why they do that or know how to do that.
My home and my family
See?
Taken from me. I am the last of my house. I am the last.
Like, and they start yelling into this microphone heart that they just ripped out of their chest. Makes no sense. There's no explanation for it. It really is. It just blew my mind. At first I was like, okay, they did it once. Every archetype that unlocks does this. It's so weird. If it had some explanation to it somewhere, maybe I could get behind it. But There literally is no explanation for it in this entire demo. And I mean, I sat through 5 hours of exposition. I mean, they could have easily covered why this happened. They never do. So, in conclusion, I'm not going to go on and on about it. If this was an anime, I'd watch it. This is a game, I'm not purchasing it. I'm glad I played the demo so I don't waste my money on this game. But there's a lot of subtle messaging throughout the entire game. And okay, fine. I can look past it if the game is fun and I can have fun playing it. But everything combined and the fact that this really isn't quote unquote a game, but an interactive anime, I'm out. I'm sorry. I know some people love it and continue to love it. Great. Good for you. But if I'm going to sit here and just be like, story for 45 minutes, gameplay for 2, another story for 30 minutes, another gameplay for 6, I'm sorry. It's just, that's boring. And maybe it does that later on where all this exposition, all this storyline isn't as prevalent and so much. But if your demo is 6 hours long and your gameplay is under 40 minutes, actual fighting is under 40 minutes, then it's not a game. It's not. And I'm just out. And I know some people may be offended by that. And I'm sorry. I'm saying I'm out. Now, if this is something you like, great. And like I said, I probably would play this if it was on the Switch. And I could lay down on my couch and enjoy it at my leisure. But sitting up here at my computer, and one of the things, and hopefully this is just another thing, it won't let you play any other way but full screen. And I'm a little ADD. I like to play it almost full screen and got other stuff going on. And because I'm a little ADD like that. So the fact that I have to give up one of my monitors fully and completely to play this game, to stream it, was a little annoying. So personally, I'm out. I wanted to like this game so much. I made a video saying how excited I was about it, and I'm not going to deny it. The trailer made me excited about this. The demo is, I downloaded the demo to play it to be like, yes, let's get a taste of it. And then I'm like, it's not for me. I mean, disregarding the fact that, humans are the enemy and they're evil and corrupted. And yes, from a theological standpoint, we are all wretched sinners and we are all despicable people. And it's only by the saving grace through Christ that we are saved and redeemed. If we want to go down that theological route, yes, let's go down that theological route. But that's not their intent. We're just humans bad. This isn't some theological game. It is humans bad. End of story. So, I mean, say what you will, but this game is not for me. And it is obvious, and I saw this before I played this. Some people in some of the groups I'm in say, oh, it doesn't matter what you pick on your choices when you have a choice like that just showed up. It all follows the same exact result. And there's a couple of them that I picked throughout. I'm like, that doesn't match my choice I made. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you answer a question or what choice you make when it comes to the exposition of the story. It's going to follow the written storyline. It doesn't diverge. Your choices make literally no difference in the story, which is kind of a bummer, especially in such a huge game as this. You'd think it'd be more impactful. It's not. So I'll quit talking. I've already gone longer than I thought I would. But in the end, oh, I'll tell you one more thing. It's hidden by my face here, but this was annoying. When the text is on the bottom, it always shows the character's face talking, like Gallica there. It's weird because you see them talking, and it's a callback to older like 8-bit, 64-bit RPGs when you weren't sure who was talking, you couldn't see them talking. Well, see, that's not necessary because we know who's talking now in this type of games. The talking heads next to the text was annoying because it's like, why? It's not needed. And it kind of looks funky. It definitely feels like a callback to the games I grew up playing. Like Final Fantasy, Metal Gear Solid, and things like that. I mean, yeah, the head would pop up to signify who's talking so you knew because there was a lot of voice acting. That's where this calls back from. So it's like, why are we doing this? I don't know. That was just one of those. It's a stylistic choice they made, and I think it's a bad one. I don't think it takes away from the game. It just feels annoying to me. And that's a personal preference. Some people may like that, but to me, I just like, I don't need the head. I can hear who's talking. And even if I didn't, it says who it is right there. You don't need a head taking up 1/8 of the screen to tell me who's talking. You know. But anyways, here's the bottom line. If you like cozy, interactive games, interactive stories, this is your bread and butter right here is what I feel. If you like actual gameplay, you're going to get so bored with this game before you get into any of the real world stuff. So I was just like, okay, you had 3 days after the prologue to play around, and I was like, okay, so I had 3 days game time to play, and it went really fast, and I was like, okay, and after that, boom, done. So I feel like there's a lot of, okay, yeah, Calica's the only one that doesn't rip her heart out. Forgot about that. She's the only one that doesn't rip her heart out. Maybe that's because she's a fairy and it looked kind of weird for someone that small to do it. But yeah, Gallica's the only one that hadn't done it. You see it 2 more times in the game in the demo. Um, but to me, this is just it's it's not a game. It's an interactive novel, and nothing against it. But I was looking forward to an RPG, and I wouldn't classify this as an RPG, even though the battle mechanics and everything does it. It's an interactive novel, is what this is. So if that's your cup of tea, great. I hope you have a good time playing it. Me, it's one of those things. Is like you can save your gameplay if you play the demo when you buy the purchase of. And I was like, good, because if I had to play through the demo and pick up right back where I left off at the beginning and do this first 6 hours again, it took so long. It felt insufferable almost. It was just too much. I couldn't take it. I was just. It was so weird. But that's my that's my breakdown. That's my thoughts as a review. I don't want to hate on the game, but I don't want to call it a game either. Yes, the messaging is subtle, but it's there. I don't want to say it's woke, but it definitely has some influence. And I think that, this could have been a lot better if there wasn't so much exposition and just going around and getting little pieces as you go and not spending 30 minutes to tell me everything. So that's my explanation. If you like actual gameplay, don't waste your money. Don't even waste your time downloading the demo. Seriously, I'll put the link to my live stream. Go watch it. And you'll see I don't do a whole lot of, side stuff because I don't have the option. I just don't. So, let it be known that you can do this and you can, and it's fun if you like interactive stories. But I'm out. I was really excited about it because I thought it'd be a game. But I'm glad I didn't purchase the game. I'm glad I was able to play the demo because now I don't want to play. So if you're on the fence, you don't want to download it, don't want to play, and you're not sure if you want to play it, go watch my live stream. It's a little over 6 hours. Skip through it, fine. Skip around, see what you like. But I'm telling you, 6 hours, and you're gonna see mostly story, a little bit of fighting, a little bit of exploring around the capital city, but it is mostly story. It's quite interesting. So it's not my cup of tea. I'd rather be doing actual gameplay if I'm sitting at my computer. So that's my thoughts. That's my ideas. That's how I feel about this game. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to recommend it to people because I think classifying it as a game is a misnomer. So until next time, my friends, as always, I love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it.